Let today be a holiday of wonders. That's the inspiration behind this daybook, which is called Let Today Be a Holiday, 365 Ways to Co-Create with God. Because you can co-create with God. Since you live now in this age of awakening, it's extraordinary the things you can do. You, one human, growing fast, and your favorite form of the divine. You can learn to co-create with God, and it would be my honor to share these resources with you. What happens with this book, unlike other ones that I've published, is that you can just read it like a day book, where you do usually 1 page a day, and then some of them have 2 pages, but usually it's just 1 page. And there's lots of ideas here that you can use for your technique time, your inspirational time in the day. Now, inside information about this book is that if you go onto my website, you can find a table of contents for the 365 chapters, so you can go right to what interests you. And you'll find that the chapters are grouped by theme, like there's a whole bunch on family of blood, meaning the family you were born into, and then there's a whole sequence that follows on family of choice, which is what you can co-create for yourself if the family of blood has been a little disappointing. And so you can do that and get extra fun from this book. Another thing you can do, if you're kind of technique oriented, is that you can go onto the part of my website where it lists techniques. And there's a whole table of them. And there are actually more than 400. Because in this book only, there are techniques that are very loosely described. Because with these particular techniques, unlike other ones I teach, where you may know I tend toward being rigorous and precise and systematic, and you learn thoroughly. My German ancestors would be proud. You learn thoroughly. Yes, yes, yes. But this is more loosey-goosey kind of book, because with the sort of experiments and techniques in here, you play with it, you use your imagination, your heart just can open up. For that reason, maybe, for some people who've got a lot of my books, this is their very favorite one. And when it comes to this book, there's one thought that I want to give you above all, to help you decide whether you want to go on to roserosetree.com and sample it and maybe even get it for yourself. It is an ebook with a different title, or get it as a paperback. Here's this one thing that I hope will help you whether you're interested in any of my books or services or not. In the age of faith, which is what preceded where we live now, which is the age of awakening, in the age of faith for hundreds and even thousands of years, we were taught to obey God, to serve God, to listen to our elders and let them tell us what God wanted. We were like God's humble, supplicating child. And there's a real beauty to that. Just like when you were little, when you were the cutest little toddler, that was great. But now we're living in the age of awakening. And this is a time when, if you are vibrationally positioned well, if you're living what I call the new strong, then you are evolving super quick. You're moving forward on your personal path, whether you call that a path to self-actualization, which is kind of a psychological way to put it, or you might call it path to enlightenment, which is a spiritual way to put it, or maybe you have your own name for it that you've made up for yourself because you get to do a lot your way. Whatever you call that ideal, that you have the right to define for yourself, and you have the right to move forward toward that, living now, you can do it as God's grown up. You can co-create with God as God's grown up. And that's when a lot of the big growth happens, and sometimes even miracles, and sometimes you don't care if there are miracles or not, because it's so good to be alive.